What is up, everyone? This is a big show today. I am so excited. We have Brittany from CGC here. Brittany, what is going on?
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited to talk about anything and everything CGC or just have some fun.
Yeah, good, because that's what we're going to do here is have a lot of fun. Guys, I've seen you already in the chat. There's a lot of people in there. So I'm going to tell everyone this one time before we get going. If you have a question, because I have a whole list of questions, but if you have a question, please put it in caps. And my guys will text me some of those questions. And hopefully, if we have time at the end, we'll get to them. We only have Brittany for like 3.5 hours. So we may not get to everything, but we're going to try really, really, really hard. So for the people that don't know, Brittany, what exactly do you do? What is your deal with CGC?
I've been with CGC for 7 years, and for a long time I was doing the marketing and organizing the trade shows. And last year I became the signature series coordinator. So all 2020 I've been organizing private signings and in-house signings and all that kind of stuff. All of those signings you see, that's what I've been doing this year. So I'm mostly dealing with SIG series, but I dabble in everything. I have my hand in everything.
Yeah, and that's why you're the perfect person to have on, because you are a lot of things. But guys, I do want to say this. Brittany is a lot of things, but she is not a grader.
No.
So there's no reason to send any grading questions. Hopefully in the future we can get something involved with that. But for today, it's just, what do you want to say? Logistical questions? Is that a good way to put it?
Submission questions about, all your questions that aren't about specific grading defects, I want to answer, and I feel confident I can probably answer.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'm going to come out right out of the gate with a first question. This is not CGC related, but it is extremely important because we talk a lot about this stuff on this channel. Are you enjoying Pearl Jam's latest album, Gigaton?
I haven't heard it yet. Am I in trouble for not hearing it yet?
Well, I'll tell you, you're not off to a great start.
Okay.
I
promise to listen to it as soon as this is over.
We'll try to rebound from that.
I'll do a full 5-page report on the album.
Please, you should. Okay. It's fantastic.
Okay.
But let's get right into it, guys.
I won't let you down.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Guys, I see all of you in there. CLG, Erod, what's up? Erod, DeButcha, Pressable Defects is here. All the Pressable Defects are here. Blue Hawk, Raider Bear. I could go all night, but we only have Brittany for so long, so I want to get right into it. Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
First question, right out of the gate. And this is important because we're coming up, in my opinion, I think you're going to know better than I am. We're coming up almost on the 1-year anniversary of Mr. McFarland being at CGC for that first ever in-house private signing.
That was actually January of this year. It seemed like it was further away, but yeah, we started taking in submissions around this time last year. We announced it mid-November. So he was supposed to come at the end of December. He was sick, and then he ended up coming in January. So yeah, we are coming on the 1-year mark with his signing.
And so since then, granted COVID and all of that, but here's the first one tonight. Will you guys continue with the in-house signings after the conventions come back and this world gets back to normal?
So I had always wanted to do this kind of model for signings, kind of do it in-house. It kind of would keep things more under control. Shows can be so chaotic, especially with signature series and witnesses and cash for artists. And it just gets kind of crazy and it takes forever to fill out paperwork. I always wanted to kind of do this model. And so after we did the Todd signing, COVID hit right after.
Yeah.
And it's kind of almost like the perfect opportunity to try this model out for a while and see how it went. And yeah, I plan on continuing it on almost every artist that's signed with us in 2020 has confirmed that they're going to sign again in 2021. And I only want to add to that list and bring in even more people than we had this year.
So I think from the outside looking in, because I do shows and I did send books for the McFarland signing, and you have a bunch of my books for the John Favik signing. And now, just today, you guys announced Kevin Eastman, Ben Bishop.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
another big one. I mean, forget the legends you already had in there. Who else do you know off the top of your head who's coming up soon? Or I guess within the next, like, what, 2-3 months?
I have a couple other people lined up, a lot of people who we've already seen in 2020. And then I have, a couple whales that I really want to get. It will be a dream to get Alex Ross. That's one that I really want to have, putting it out there in the world.
Yeah,
Alex,
put it out into the universe.
we want you to do a signing. I don't want to only concentrate on big artists, big whales like that. I want to have signings for new and up and coming artists that maybe nobody's ever heard of, who are doing the killer sketch covers. I kind of want to do everybody, honestly.
Yeah.
There's nobody that I don't want to have a signing with. Big, small, doesn't matter. I want every customer who wants a signature on their book to have an opportunity to get it.
That's great, because again, somebody who goes to shows like myself, there's artists and writers who I'll never see because they don't come to the shows that I go to, whether it's travel wise, like some guys only stay on the West Coast, some guys only stay in Canada, so to be able to basically just mail you it, not wait in lines, be done, not pay for a ticket to get into a convention, not wait in the lines for these things, not wait in the lines at the CGC booth, because you guys are always busy. So
it started taking like 3 or 4 hours to get a book done.
Yeah.
And you wasted your whole show just waiting in lines, and that's not fun for anybody. And I think that as this kind of continues, all the signings won't necessarily have to be hosted at CGC. The SIG Series team will be able to go to different places and do signings. And, I eventually want to open it up internationally. There's a bunch of great artists over in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
We have a London office there. So I have so many ideas on ways to grow this. I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. I only see it morphing into more.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And then talk about a segue. You ready for this one? I actually picked these up specifically for the Favik John's signing, and Anderson. We can't leave him out, right?
No, he's
specifically awesome. For that one. And my books are all sent in. I use this thing, and I gotta say, I mean, I guess it's a plug, but whatever. These things were great quality, easy to use. Right. And again, just a time saver with cutting out the window. It was a lot.
Window bags they're terrible. They take forever to make. Tape can get on books. Sometimes the windows are cut too close to the edge and they snag your book. They're riddled with errors and mistakes and handling things that can happen. So this was a really great way for us to not have to rebag your books again. I was explaining that when books come into CGC, they get barcoded. So there's anonymity with the submissions and the graders don't know whose books they're grading. So we sticker the books with a barcode and your invoice number. So if there's a window bag, we have to take the book out of the window bag, put it into a new bag and board, and then barcode it. This cuts down on the handling. So after it's signed, you can just close that top flap and then sticker it, and it goes to the graders, and it doesn't have to be handled again. It saves time for us operationally, so we can, get your submissions back to you faster.
And you just kind of answered another one of the questions I had for you, which is, do the graders know who's submitting the books?
No, the graders do not know who is submitting the books. The receiving team is the first people to open up the boxes that the submissions come in. That's all done under camera. It's at that point in time, once they've entered the books into the system, that they will remove the paperwork, the submitter's identifying paperwork, and they'll sticker the books with just a barcode. The information in our system that would show the submitter's name in relation to that barcode, the graders don't have access to those screens. Just like people who work in receiving wouldn't have access to a grading screen. So it's very separate for that exact reason, to not have any kind of conflict or any kind of issues with any of that.
Is that same barcode on the invoice?
Yes. If you'll notice, your invoice number is your cert number and then the last 3 digits are the line item number. So if you look at an invoice that you send in and you compare it to your cert number, the first book on that invoice, that first cert number will be your invoice number 001. The next one will be the invoice number 002, and so on and so forth.
Beautiful. All right. So I don't like to talk about this, but it's probably necessary. We talked about the shows being canceled and all that. So my next question for you. See, this is why we're going to just fire them out. We're under a strict time limit here. What extra precautions are you guys taking with COVID?
So when COVID first hit, CGC kind of locked down and began all the preparations to follow all the CDC guidelines. Everybody that was able to work from home, who doesn't touch a collectible in their day-to-day jobs, was sent home to work remotely. And then all of the remaining space, they kind of spread everybody out. So there's 10 feet between each employee. We're all wearing masks. There's tons of hand sanitizing stations. We rotate the times in which the companies come in. So NGC, our coin company, arrives first in the morning, then PMG. We stagger our entrances and exits. We have a thermal camera when you enter the building that takes our temperature. So we're following all the procedures that
I was going to say, you guys are kind of covering everything here.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. We have well over 300 employees, and it's up to us and the company, to make sure everybody is staying safe, and they do an excellent job.
Good. And the books are safe.
And the books are all safe. I wish I could, bring everybody on a tour to the building so they could see the size of the vaults that the books are stored in, but your books are safe. I promise you.
I mean, I'm available if you need somebody to come through there. Just do a quick video. That's no problem for me. But all right, let's keep rolling here. Now, all right, so my next question is a crazy broad question, and I know this because I get this question all the time. But how much does it cost to submit a book to CGC? And I know it's a broad question here.
It is, but let's just start with the most basic one, which most people submit modern books. Modern books cost $20 to be graded. And then we have memberships where you can get a certain discount off of the retail price, as well as there's dealer discounts, and they get a percentage off of the price. So I'll start with 20 as the lowest grading fee you can have for a modern book. And then they kind of go up from there depending on the value of a book. So once you get into vintage, if your book is worth $400, that's going to be $38 to grade. And they go up from there all the way to walkthroughs, which is any book over $3,000 in value. We do 3% of the fair market value of the book. And then as the books increase in value, their turn times decrease and we get them back to you faster.
Yeah, so there you go. It's a premium. Just everybody submit everything at that highest tier. Everything.
The turn times have been rough right now. We've had just so many submissions. Around this time of year, there's usually New York Comic-Con where we bring in a huge chunk of submissions, and our turn times kind of always slow down around this time because shows are happening. So the volume that we have is kind of equivalent to what the show volume would have been. And that's when our turn times are. I will say that we're hiring a lot of extra people, and the teams have been working, 12-hour shifts and weekends. So they're definitely doing the best they can with the volume of books that we have. But I know that nobody's happy with the turn times right now. So I promise you we're doing everything we can to get books back to you quicker.
Yeah. And, that's one thing too, I will say about CGC, you're very aware of the community. Like, what's going on, and you try to solve a problem if there's a problem.
I take a lot of pride personally in being on our social, being on the chat boards. People email me. I listen. I want to be a company that a customer loves. I take that stuff seriously too. And there's a lot of value in being treated well by a company and being happy with the company's process. And who should you listen to if not your customers? The people who are using your services, they're the best people to possibly give feedback. So yeah, when people say, I want John Byrne for a signing, or I want, the turn times to not be 50 days. We do hear that. And I'm not the only one. There's plenty of people. We definitely listen to the community.
That's
It's
really
not always
important.
as easy to grant the wishes as it might seem, but I always want to grant the wishes.
Yeah. Well, see, we don't have a tremendous amount of time, but I do want to tell that story about Baltimore, man, what you did for me.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
We
this
go way
was
back.
what?
I said we go way back.
Yeah, this was probably like 4 or 5 years ago at Baltimore Comic Con. My first Baltimore Comic Con. You guys were doing on-site grading. I got a batch of books back. One of them had like a hair in it or something, and I brought it to you. Actually, you were the person I was talking with. And you said, all right, let me get this straightened out. You brought it back. You said, just come back in like 10, 15 minutes, whatever it was. I come back. The hair is now moved. So obviously it was opened up. And I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. It's fine. And you're like, no, like you took it out of my hands. Like, no, we're going to get this.
It's not fine.
No, yeah, I know, but you're right. You're right. But
it's
you
not
took
fine.
it.
I mean, we're all human. Every single person that works at CGC is a human, and we make mistakes, but as a whole, we always like to own up to those mistakes, fix them, and leave the customer happier than they were before it took place. Make them whole, make them happy. That's what we got to do.
It's like you and I planned all this beforehand, because now you're segueing right into another question of mine. Look at this.
This is really, it's like we're doing a dance.
That's what it is. It's beautiful. So what is the protocol if a book is damaged at CGC? And before you get into that, I feel like it kind of rolls into the whole invoice thing too, with insurance versus value and all of that.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with if something comes in damaged to CGC, and maybe there's shipping damage. If a box comes in really messed up, we will refuse the package altogether and send it back to the owner. If we do take the package and we see that like maybe a corner was damaged and you open up the box and a bunch of the books have corner dings, we'll just email the customer right then and there and say, hey, we see that there's shipping damage. We had a greater look at it. It can be pressed. Do you want pressing? And just kind of let them know what's going on so they can make a decision. If something gets damaged at CGC, which I know a lot of people like to say, this happened to my book and this happened to my book, and they always think that it happened at CGC. But the reality is first of all, it's not like that's never happened. But if something is damaged at CGC, I should start by saying that our entire facility is under camera, every square inch of it, every person, every corner, everything. So there's always video surveillance of everything that happens. But if an employee or someone was to damage a book, we just take a picture right then and there. We email the customer right away. The thing that's really important about your fair market value and your declared value on your forms is that is what we insure the comic book for from the moment it's received in our system. So if you say, hey, my ASM 300 is worth $500, and I open your package, I pull out your book, I'm doing what I'm boxing it for the graders, and I drop your book and it gets damaged. At that point in time, we need to email the customer and let them know, hey, this book has been damaged. It's gone from a 9.6 to a 9.0. And then we offer a bunch of different options. Replacement books, pressing, if pressing will fix the issue, your money back, like if you insured it for $500, paying you out that $500 and essentially buying the book. There's a couple different options depending on what happened, the severity, and the value of the book. If that ever happens, though, CGC bends over backwards again to make sure that you're happy and that you're whole at the end of it.
There you go. I couldn't have said it better myself. I didn't know the answer, but I don't think I could have if I knew it. That was perfect.
If anybody ever has questions about that or they are having issues, I'm a very responsive person in email, and you're always welcome to email me, Brittany at cgccomics.com, if you have questions about these kinds of things and you don't know how to handle it.
There you go. I mean, that was phenomenal job.
Good.
All right. This one, I did actually see this one in the chat, and I had this on my list.
Okay.
What does it take to be a CGC grader? Because I know you guys are hiring. I don't know who you're hiring, but you're looking right now.
We are actually looking for a vintage comic book grader. A lot of our graders have been collecting books since they were kids. A lot of them have been doing it for longer than I've been alive. Some of them have worked at CGC for more than half my life. We have very little turnover in the grading room, and our graders have been there for a really long time.
That speaks volumes right there.
It does. The grading team is the most, I would say, cohesive team at CGC in terms of they've been together for a long, long time. So when a new person comes in, usually what happens is you submit your resume to CGC. It gets looked over by HR. If it looks promising, it gets sent to a couple of the top graders. And then if you're a candidate, you usually get brought in to the grading room to grade with the team for a week, and they feel out your grading skills.
Jeez. Oh, man, it's like hazing.
Yeah, I would die under the pressure, but
yeah, that's
usually how it works. I've gone into the grading room and seen like an unfamiliar face, and I find out it's somebody who's trying out for grading. That's usually how it works.
Jeez. All right. I'm stressed out just thinking of that.
Our new vintage grader.
There you go. Quick question too. This one from the chat. Do I want to talk about this now or in a little bit? We'll do it now. Any chance in the future of a UV protected case?
I haven't heard of any plans. That's been brought up a couple times, suggested. I don't actually know if there is a good reason why we didn't do it with our new iterations that came out in 2016. I have a feeling it has to do with the archival plastic, like what it would take to put UV on top of the archival plastic. I haven't heard of any plans to have a new UV case, though. I have heard of framing companies that fit CGC slabs perfectly, and they're UV protected. But no, CGC itself, if there is a plan for that, I'm not aware.
How about this one? I think I already know the answer to this, but any chance you'll be starting a new verified signature tier? Basically unwitnessed signatures.
So no, there's no plans for that. And the main reason for that is many of the computer programs that verify signatures, they're not 100% accurate. They can be quite accurate, but they're not 100%. And we just feel that until there's 100% accuracy in that, we're not going to say that that's a signature if we don't really 100% know.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know if further down the line, maybe that will be something, but whenever it's been brought up, everybody comes back around to that conclusion. Our program's doing well. We're running it tight. Like, why do we have to do a verified signature? There are other companies that offer that, and that's a great service that you can take advantage of with one of the other grading companies.
I agree. I mean, I know you have facilitators and the witnesses, the whole thing. It's like, why mess with a good thing?
Yeah. And yeah. And plus I have the in-house signings now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Can't screw those up. I mean, right? Here's another tough one. What is the quality control process between encapsulation and shipping?
So our quality control team is actually in encapsulation. So actually before the books are sonic sealed is when they're looked at by a quality control person. That's when they look at the book in the holder, the label. Does the label actually match the book that's there? If it's a signature series book, does it have a yellow label, or did they accidentally give it a blue label? That's when the quality control happens before we sonic seal it. So the sonic sealing and then going to shipping is actually the final part. We have an increased volume of books right now. If anybody's experiencing any quality control issues or label issues, we are more than happy to fix them. We're eager to fix them. I apologize for any quality control issues anyone's experiencing. I think that as you pump out more books, you also increase your margins for error. That's never really acceptable, but we're very quick to make it right if you do receive a book that's mislabeled, or there's a hair in your case, or it's cracked from shipping or something that might have happened. let us know and we'll make it right.
Here, this is like so like da 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 da, but I know we're on a crunch. The labels themselves, right?
Yeah.
You have a lot of new Marvel labels. So is there anything, and I think Image, right? Walking Dead's on there.
Yes.
So anything in the future with
Skybound,
DC?
not Image. Skybound.
Oh, Skybound.
We
Right.
don't have Image labels, but hey, Todd, if you can hear me, I'd love some.
So no Spawns. Yeah.
Yeah,
So is
I
there
want a Spawn label.
anything coming in the future, whether it's DC or something new from Image or Marvel?
We do have some new Marvel labels that will be released really soon.
Oh.
They're so cool. I'm really excited. We did just release the new Null label when we announced the Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman sighting. So for any of you modern guys, that's a pretty cool one. And I don't want to ruin too much of the surprise for the new Marvel labels, but there's some really cool vintage options.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and there haven't been very many vintage designs because, I find that a lot of the vintage guys, they're set in their ways. They want their collection to look uniformed and they're not really interested in any of these, fun character labels. But I feel like a vintage book with a really cool vintage label aesthetically might win some vintage collectors' hearts.
It might. Yeah, it might. I'll be honest with you. I submit a lot of books, and just recently, I think it's been there maybe like 3 weeks or whatever. Just recently, I got all Spider-Man labels. First time ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm Spidey and Carnage and Venom. Yeah. I've never done it. So like I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, they're really cool. And when you see them with your books, they look so cool. When I walk by our shipping department, there's like carts of books. And when I see the ones with the labels, I'm like, oh, that looks good.
I do have a few more questions because we're getting close here. And I think I know the answer to this one. This is another one that came from the chat. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
What's the vetting process for a third-party facilitator?
So in order to be a facilitator with CGC, you have to have an authorized dealer account for a minimum of 1 year. You have to be submitting 600 books annually, and your account has to be in good financial standing with CGC. At that point in time, you can apply to be a facilitator, and we review your account and make the decision and set you up with a facilitator. And facilitators are dealers who are allowed to do signature series. So hold signings, get books signed at shows, that kind of thing. We don't have many of them, obviously, because the signature series program is a complex program and, tightly run to avoid any kind of fraud or anything like that. So that's kind of how facilitation works. It's not like super easy to apply because we don't really want it to be, but that's the requirements. And you can email signature series at cgccomics.com if you would like to apply to be a facilitator.
So you have to hit that 600 number annually?
Yeah.
Within a 12-month or a calendar 12? I know it sounds crazy, but
12 months,
12
not
months.
A calendar 12.
Okay.
So because, if you signed up to be a dealer in March,
you
can apply to be a facilitator at the following March, and we would keep your account rolling on that basis. The reason for the limit is a few things, mainly to ensure that whoever is going to be facilitating is very, very familiar with all of CGC's processes, because a facilitator is essentially an extension of CGC. Anybody who we've allowed to facilitate, they're going to be dealing with customers. They're going to be representing CGC in some capacity. And we just want people to be as knowledgeable as possible.
I've got another one here from the chat. Oh, not that one. Well, you're going to be moving CGC to New York City?
I don't think so. That's not the plan. Real estate's cheaper in Florida, so I think we'll probably stay put.
Any chance Tom Hardy comes in for a signing?
There is nobody who's off my list for a signing. I'll just say that. I welcome, and I say this again, if you want to send me an email with your wish list, I have just like an ongoing list of people, and I just cross them off as I contact them. Do you want to come for a signing? Yeah? Okay. No? Okay, I'll contact you in another month. Do you want to come for a signing? So I honestly, I want to have everybody. A lot of people don't want to travel right now because of COVID, and it's scary times, which is very understandable. So I'm hoping that, as we kind of get a handle on COVID and we figure all of that out, maybe we'll go to people and do signings, at people's hometowns and have people at the offices and kind of do a mix of both of them.
You have people over now?
Goes
the dog
dog. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Somebody said Humberto Ramos in the chat. I love Humberto, and I've been talking to him about a signing.
Well, there you go. See? Brittany's nonstop working. You got to be one of the hardest workers there. It's constant. Let me see if do you see anything in the chat you want to touch on? I have one important question here. This came from the outside, but if a grader found a 20 in the book, will it help the grade?
I'm so happy that you're asking me that question. And let me just tell you, people send money in all the time. And you know what we do? We send it back to them, or we put it on their account as credit that they can use.
Guys, don't send cash in the mail.
I mean, if you do, we're going to put it on your account and you can use it as grading credit.
There you go.
No grader is going to be like, $20, 9.8.
There it is.
Happen.
That's kind of lose a little bit of integrity with that move.
Yeah.
But you're getting a lot of love here.
I'm going to go back and read all of these. Anybody that's saying nice things, thank you. I was nervous about doing this live. One of my friends, Zaid, logged in from South Africa. He probably left because it's midnight there, but thank you to everybody who's being nice.
Look, here's a good one for you. Any good hikes coming up?
Oh my gosh, I'm in Colorado and tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so I am going on a sweet Thanksgiving hike so I can eat whatever I want for the rest of the day.
There you go. I can't wait. I'm so excited for tomorrow. This is one of my favorite holidays. You wouldn't believe it, but it is.
Really?
I love Thanksgiving.
I see Rodrigo in the chat is putting up so many artist names. So Rodrigo, you email me. Just give me your full list. I'm working on Jim Lee. I want Jim Lee too. Trust me.
I'm surprised he hasn't come out there yet. Not from from his perspective. He does all these things. He does a lot of those private signings at the shows. I've noticed
he does. He absolutely does. I think that it's been a weird year, and logistically,
he's in California too. So I
was impressed. We've done like 63 signings this year, and I'm impressed that we were able to do that many.
Yeah.
With COVID happening, I'm like, every once in a while, I'm like, dang, 63.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, that is impressive for this pandemic, right? I mean,
and I want to continue that. So James Tinian, yep, I hope to do one with him.
Lemire, yeah, there's a lot of names coming through now.
You guys email me these names.
Yeah, but and you said that.
Let's all just take a break from work for a few days. Let's stuff our faces, be with our families.
And now, so
email me names.
I've seen you do interviews and talk about this, and it's the same thing you said back, probably 6-7 months ago. Give me names. Let me know who you want to see. I'm going to work on it.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell a lot of people put Peach Momoko. I've been in talks with her. She's in Japan. So anything that we do with her will have to wait until either we can travel there easily or she can travel here easily, but she's open to do a signing and I hope to do one with her. It's just a matter of when.
Any chance, this is a tough one and I don't want to put you on for this one, but any chance why Peter Laird wasn't involved? He doesn't do anything.
I talked to him and his people, and he's just not in a position right now where he wanted to do one. I think, again, COVID's just playing a really big role in all of this, but I wanted to. I asked.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because, we're talking about, and I know you got to get out of here, but
okay.
You're talking about COVID and everything, but the Simonsons came down.
We actually went to the Simonsons.
Oh, well, then I might as well leave.
We went to the Simonsons. Yeah, they're older, and what the Simonsons want, the Simonsons get.
Yeah, I mean, I think they live up here, don't they?
They do, yeah. I would love to do one with John Romita Sr. I've been talking with his agent here and there.
Isn't he up here too?
Huh?
Isn't he up here too?
Yes, he is. I mean,
maybe I should come and facilitate.
Yeah.
Just the ones up here.
Yes, you can do all the Northeast ones. You'll just be our plug in the Northeast.
There you go. Yeah, you heard it here. We got, I can't, Jay. I don't want to do that, but we got a $5 super chat from the Butch over at Pressable Defects. You know, Jay.
Yeah, I saw, and obviously you're talking to Brittany McManus from CGC, so answer CGC.
Yeah. This is actually a good question, and I'm not sure if you know this one, but how often is the census updated? That's a
The
good
census
question.
is updated every Sunday night.
Sunday night. That's a
Yeah,
good
so
one.
Sunday night while everyone's sleeping, like around 2, 3 in the morning, it like reconciles all of its data, and the new data is in there.
So there you go. So when you wake up one Monday morning and you want to check the census, it's updated.
That's been asked. So like if you get a walkthrough on Monday and we ship it back to you on Tuesday and you have it in your hands Wednesday, it won't show up in the census until that following Monday, or if you check in the middle of the night on Sunday. But yeah, Sunday night's when that happens.
That's a good question. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I'm telling you, anything CGC related, I have too much information in this.
Yeah, and I opened this, and now we're up to 289 people in here. But
wow.
Just a normal Wednesday night.
You've got a great channel with such good engagement. You should just be so stoked and proud of yourself.
Oh yeah, it's fun. You know, it is. It's like, I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of it has to do with COVID, because all this interaction that would have been done at the shows is now done online. So
yeah. And we were just talking about how, I feel I can't wait. I want to hug so many people. Every single person in the chat, I want to just hug them. I miss hugs. But it's funny because I have been referring to people as their online handle. So Emerald Knights or Star Striker instead of their name, which I know them in person, but I'm just calling them by their handles because that's like what I've been seeing day in, day out this year.
We have another I lost it. Another super chat. This may not be a Brittany question, but we'll ask it because it's Matt. You guys are doing great. Well, thank you. I think everyone wants to know who decides first, full versus cameo on a label.
The graders decide as a team. So when someone sends in, I think that this issue is the first appearance of Thor's dog, the graders they meet, deliberate, go back and forth, and they arrive to a decision, like a consensus together.
Oh, and actually, I have a follow-up to that question. Yosef, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. So, and I already know the answer to this because I've actually done this before, but if you get a book back with a label with no notes, no first appearance, and you think that character is a first appearance, you just basically put a Post-it note when you submit, and the graders will discuss it, right?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. I know it sounds basic, but that is how it works. When they get the Post-it book, they take it in, they give it to the graders, and they just all are like, hey, so we have this book, and they start their discussion. And maybe 15 minutes later, they're like, we'll honor this as a first appearance, or we won't. It gets changed in the system, and then every book thereafter that comes in will have that notation on it.
Yeah, I've done it before, and I've gotten a book back before with no note, no.
Yeah.
And then I've sent another one, put the Post-it note on, and then boom, it comes back with that. I did it with Micronauts #1.
Hey, yo, that's a good book.
So I saw this one a few times. Any chance at John Byrne?
So I have reached out to a few people that know him. I haven't personally talked to him. He's not a big fan of grading in general, or CGC really. I don't know if that's the CGC specific or grading companies. But it would be something to hang my hat on if I got him to come around and do a signing. I would.
That's going to be hard.
I would love to talk to him and, I don't know, be on good terms and explain grading and all of that and have a great relationship with him. So I'm working on that. I'm really hoping for it. If you could put out some good vibes and keep your fingers crossed, or if you know John yourself, put in a good word for me. But
do you think it's you personally? Like, that's why he's like, nah, hell no, I'm not going down there.
I haven't spoken to him personally. I know reputationally he's not a big fan, and I've talked to a few people that know him in order to try to talk to him directly, but I haven't yet done so. So wish me luck. I hope that that's actually coming soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big John Byrne. A ton of people love him, but
I
hey,
love him.
what are you gonna do, right? And
Please
here's
love
another
me
question I
back,
forgot.
John Byrne.
Here's another question I actually forgot to get to earlier, and I'm very interested in this question. So you guys have touched on cards, right?
Uh-huh.
Sports cards. Have you started that officially yet? Because I know you
Not
hired.
yet. It's all in the works. We're getting the team together. We're still doing kind of like the behind the scenes stuff, but
Right.
that is scheduled to roll out Q1 of 2021.
Beautiful.
And we don't have any plans right at this moment to do games or toys, but I don't know if you
Yeah.
know of Wata. Wata is a really cool video game grading company.
Yeah.
They're awesome. I haven't heard of any plans to do games or toys up until this point, but if I hear of anything, I'll let you know.
Yeah, please do, because I mean, now that you guys are into cards, what, right? You keep going. You
Yeah.
do coins, right? Coins, comics, cards. Oh, any chance at the treasury edition size?
So, you know, we have talked about doing a holder for the treasury books. We've had different samples in, we just haven't pulled the plug on that yet.
Okay.
That is something that could happen though. It's
Okay.
been discussed. It's been discussed.
They're big, man.
They are big. They're
yeah.
very big.
We
That
got
holder would be like my whole
yeah, it would be
torso.
huge.
Yeah.
$5 super chat. Here you go from Yosef. How should we send in the last Ronin for signing as far as the signing bag? Because
You can
I
just
would
send
suggest the
it.
magazine size. It's going to be a
Yeah.
little big though, but
Yeah. Hot Flips has magazine bags and boards. We just started making these bags, so I haven't moved on yet to getting Golden Age magazine size made yet. But I would suggest getting regular window bags and boards, and then maybe cutting window bags if you have a TMNT that's magazine size.
and this is what you're talking about again. I know we touched on it earlier, but I
Yeah.
was super stoked to pick these up. Shameless CGC plug with a CGC representative, but I submitted a whole bunch of 3 Jokers,
Mhm.
and all I did was put them in there. I doubled and tripled up the boards to thicken it up a little bit so the book wasn't sliding, because like you said too, right? Silver and modern fit in there.
Yep.
And it was fine. And I don't even know if I'm supposed to do this. I put blue painter's tape around the outside with which artist or writer I wanted to sign in which color
That's
pen
even better. I mean,
or
that's just
marker.
super organized.
Yeah,
But
we'll see. Yeah, this is
I don't know who sent that super chat about the magazine bags and boards for the Eastman
Yosef.
signing, but you can email me if you're having any difficulty prepping your books and I can help you out.
So you're not into the sports cards yet. It's all happening. When
Yeah.
that does happen, will you guys be taking in Marvel cards as well, like comic cards?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back to you. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. Sorry to
I'm
drop
not
one on you like that.
positive. I don't want to give any false information. So
Yeah.
I will find out and I will follow up with you.
There was one other good one, and then I know you got to get out of here. We'll
I'm worried my laptop's gonna die.
uh-oh.
But
Well,
I
if
think
Brittany abruptly leaves,
I have 16%.
all right, we'll get out of here before then. $5 super chat from Jonathan. I have a milk and cheese #1. Can I get it graded? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. I think that's modern size.
But he said graded, like
Oh,
graded.
graded. But good one, Jonathan. So there was a good one here.
Dad joke, Jonathan.
Here's a really important question, almost as important as that Pearl Jam one. Are you a mashed potatoes girl or a sweet potato? I'm mashed potatoes.
I can't believe that I'm going to say this the day before Thanksgiving in the United States of America, but I hate mashed potatoes.
Oh my god!
Like my least favorite food on earth is mashed
going
potatoes.
from bad to worse.
That's how everybody feels. I can't believe it because I like all other potato things. Something about I don't like potatoes. So
let's see. We already talked about Treasury. Was there anything you wanted to talk about? Is there any upcoming signings? I know there's deadlines, right, for certain people.
There's a lot of deadlines. The one that's coming up the fastest is Bart Sears, Roy Thomas. I think
Legend.
Bob Layton just finished, so he's done. Roy Thomas is coming up on the 30th. We have a couple other guys whose signing end on December 7th. Rags Morales, Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan. And then the other guys, Jason Fabek, Brad Anderson, David Finch,
Jeff Johns.
Jeff Johns, thank you.
Come on.
Their cutoff is December 15th, but they won't be signing until January 2021.
Okay. I'm seeing if there's any other big ones. You guys do not pre-screen books for private signings, right?
No, we don't pre-screen signature series in
Okay.
general. And the reason for that being is you still have to do all the work for the SIG series book. You still have to get it witnessed, processed. The information has to be entered in. The witness gets used. So we didn't pre-screen them because once we pre-screen a book and then a SIG book, especially and mail it back to you, the chain of custody is broken. If it doesn't pass, it's pre-screened and it gets sent back to you raw. So as a general rule, we don't pre-screen SIG series.
Here's a good one. There's actually a few good ones in a row. First, there's no way you guys are going to be grading omnibus, right? Those thick hard I mean, they're crazy.
How thick are they?
Like thicker than the phone. Some
Like,
are. They're all different.
We can, yeah.
They're hard covers.
Yeah, no. The thickest book that we can encapsulate is maybe just over a 1/4 inch thick. Thicker than that, it gets tough to hold in the holder.
Noah has a good one too. Are we getting any more videos on CGC YouTube channel behind the curtain? Those have been good.
Yes, we have literally tons planned. And I will say too that we watch the YouTube channel comments. So when they ask you like, what do you want to see more of? It's so good to put a comment in there. I know a lot of people have been saying they really want to know the difference between a 9.8 and a 9.6. That's been like a trend that people want to see. There's been some things that people want to know about pressing, like identifying pressing defects and how you can pick them out on your own book. Let us know what you want to see. We are definitely continuing those videos behind the scenes. Learn how to do it yourself, get better at grading your own books at home, that kind of thing.
And then we're going to get out of here. But Nathan, you guys have been doing this now a few times already. You just had the boys in there, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We just finished a signing with Anthony Starr and Aaron Moriarty, both so nice. I enjoyed that a lot. I do hope to do more. I've been talking to the Green Power Ranger about maybe doing a signing.
Jason David Frank, right?
Yeah.
Bring them all in.
Like I was saying earlier, I would love to have anybody that wants to do a signing. There's no reason to say no to any signing because there's a person out there that probably wants that signature. So send me your desires and I will do my best to make those signings happen.
How many? I'm sorry, these are good questions. Okay. While I have you, do you know off the top of your head how many pressers work at CGC?
Maybe 20. I'm ballparking.
All right, let's see. And all right, we're gonna end here. What is your favorite comic?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that. And I don't know.
Just put it in one of your CGC videos. That's all. It's no big deal.
I'll put it in one of my CGC.
Everybody should have their favorite. Do that in one of those videos.
I'll say that my favorite book that I have is probably like one of the ones that I got signed by Stan. I have an ASM 300 that I had signed by Stan, and when Todd came, he signed it for me. So I would say that's probably like my favorite actual collectible. But I don't know if that's like my favorite book. I'm gonna think about it.
All right, there you go.
I would love to just say happy Thanksgiving and thank you to everybody that watched and asked questions. And I hope that I was helpful. Yeah. Mainly happy Thanksgiving and stay away from the mashed potatoes.
Yeah, no, see that almost until then. But yeah, so we got to get out of here. I know Brittany's super busy. I just wanted to remind everybody, Friday, December 18th, we're doing our live Christmas show. Rumor has it Santa's coming. I'm not positive, but all right, it's not really Santa. It's probably one of his helpers or something, but he's coming. And for everyone in the United States, enjoy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Everyone up north or overseas, just have a nice Thursday.
Yeah. Enjoy your weekend.
That's it. Hey, have a good weekend. But that's it, Brittany. I can't thank you enough, man. I
I
can't. This was
loved this.
great.
This was fun, and I'm looking forward to hopefully coming back on with a grader soon.
Let's make that happen. Maybe 2021. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll try.
You're the best, and I miss you, and I can't wait to see you again.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everything comes back to normal next year, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, thank you so much. Have a great night. Thank you again to Brittany.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.